What I really want to get into, since you are here as members of Chambers of Commerce and businesses, is it good for Florida's economy and business? And the answer, I believe, is no. All gambling is bad economics. And gambling does not create wealth. Gambling merely redistributes wealth and does so in a counterproductive way. And I think that gambling, casino gambling especially, shows us especially that private behavior has public consequences. And we see this in the enormous secondary social costs associated with casinos. And there's a long list of those social costs that we can talk about. The primary interest that you should have is something called cannibalization. This is something that Dan made reference to. And that is, casinos claim to create new jobs, but the truth is they just shift the jobs by destroying local businesses. It weakens and destroys other small businesses, retail shops, etc. For example, when casinos opened in Atlantic City, 40% of local restaurants and 1/3 of retail stores went completely out of business and closed within the first year. The third document I've provided for you in your materials is actually a Pennsylvania study that is found on the American Gaming website. And it's tried to use to prove that what I'm talking about, this cannibalization, or as they call it, substitution, is not real. It's exaggerated by persons like myself that occurs in casinos. But on page 17, which I've given you, it has a giant caveat in their own study for existing tourism economies like Florida. And the quote is this: overall, the only case where the substitution effect, that is cannibalization, might be negative is that of a casino disrupting an already healthy tourist base, such as the concern expressed in the Florida study. So even in their own materials, they recognize this is a serious problem. The bottom line is this, to Florida businesses and the economy: every dollar that's invested in chance is a dollar that's not going to a garden restaurant, it's a dollar that's not going to a Publix grocery store, and a dollar that's not going to Disney World or some other established Florida business. We have a very robust tourist industry that will be weakened by these casinos. These are some of the largest casinos on the face of the earth that they're proposing to have in this area, and we think it's bad public policy. But seriously, this bill is very short-sighted, in my opinion, on the part of Florida government officials that are proposing it. When the state sanctions gambling, it becomes a predator upon its own citizens. This argument makes no sense to me at all. It defies logic. Gambling is bad, therefore, let's have more of it. It makes no sense at all. We're talking about the largest casinos in the world. It's bad public policy, again, to address short-term economic pressures by creating permanent institutions that are regressive, economically counterproductive, and destructive to society. And I think that we have enough information about the human, social, and economic costs and consequences to realize this bill is a bad deal. And we can sit here all day and debate what the impacts might be. We don't need to do that. All we need to do is look at the impacts have been in a state like Nevada. In the Congressional Quarterly Press, Nevada, and these statistics are stunning unless you actually look at the data that's compiled by the government. Nevada, #1 in violent crime, #1 in robbery, #1 in motor vehicle theft, #1 in rate of consumer fraud complaints. This is out of all the states in the country. #1 in personal bankruptcy. #2 in business bankruptcy, only second to Delaware because it's the corporation state. #1 in unemployment, 30% higher than Florida's. #1 in divorce rate. Nevada's foreclosure rate of homes, 400% that of Florida. They are one out of every 396. We are one out of every 396 homes. They're one out of every 110 homes. The numbers are almost unbelievable in their uniformity if you didn't see them in black and white. And so what we're talking about here is producing the largest casino in the world. And Dan is exactly right. You could fit the Mirage, the Wynn, the Venetian, the Bellagio, the Grand, and Caesar's Palace all on the main floor of the Jenny Casino that they're proposing. And it will not be their last. I would submit to you, we do not want to turn Florida into this kind of social and economic mess. We're a unique state with a robust economy, family-friendly tourism, and retail businesses that are thriving, and we want to keep it that way. Casino gambling is bad politics. The polls show that. By the way, that's not my poll. That's a reputable polling establishment that did that. It's bad principle and it's bad public policy. And I hope that you, as business leaders here in this community, will stand up, will speak up, and will oppose this effort to expand casinos, some of the largest casinos in the world, right here in South Florida.